continue. So thank you so much for being here today. This is the July Wellness Webinar. We are officially over halfway through the year. This is Laura Maloof Miller. I'm your presenter today. I'm a Wellness Program Manager here at HealthNet. And my other host today is Stacy Noonan. She is also from our Wellness Department. At the beginning, I always like to go over a few of the housekeeping items. Everybody on the line has been muted, and that is to avoid any background noise. At the end of the webinar, there will be an anonymous survey. It's really short, so your feedback is really appreciated. And if you have any questions, or we'll ask you to use the chat today, please go ahead and just chat to the hosts and panelists. Stacy will be monitoring that today. And you don't need to take any notes. Everybody who registered for this webinar will receive a link to the recording in just a few days. All right, so this is our topic for today. We're going to take a look at we're going to explore that link, that powerful link between time spent outdoors, movement, and our mental health. So this session, I'm really going to highlight how the parks, green spaces, even blue spaces, so water environments, help reduce stress, lift up our mood, and support our overall wellness. The best thing is no fancy equipment is required. Our disclaimer today, this information provided in this presentation is intended solely for the general information of the audience. It's not medical advice and shall not replace consultation with your physician or other qualified health provider. If you have any health-related questions or problems, please seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider. This is the agenda for today. So spending time moving outdoors really offers far more than just the physical benefits. It helps and supports our brain, our mood, and our overall sense of well-being. So I'm going to be talking about how movement impacts our brain health, all the way to the growing use of nature-based therapies, how outdoor exercise provides unique advantages that indoor movement really just can't replicate. And so as we explore the benefits of outdoor activity, we're going to look at how nature supports our mental clarity. I'm going to compare outdoor versus indoor exercise, and I'm going to share with you some summer-friendly ways to move with a focus on how to make outdoor movement sustainable and, of course, realistic. At the end, I'm going to cover some simple safety tips, and then we'll take a guided sort of visual journey outdoors, which would help to inspire some movement that feels refreshing and supportive and also doable for everybody. If you're interested, we would like for you to chat. Use the chat. Let us know what is your go-to outdoor exercise or activity that counts as movement. So to protect the privacy of the audience, the chats are not shared with the group. However, Stacy will read a few of them too out loud. So if you would like to, of course it's optional, but if you would like to, what is your go-to outdoor activity or exercise? Maybe it's tennis or golf or bocce ball. I think pickleball is still really popular, but if you'd like to share with us, we'll read off some of them, Stacy.
Do a lot of walking and hiking.
Oh, that's great. Anything unusual?
Crystal likes to do hide and seek with her niece and nephew.
Oh,
So
okay.
creative.
Yeah.
Stand-up paddleboard. It's a good one.
Okay, great. Well, of course, it's always optional, but thank you so much for sharing that information. We find that research does consistently show that physical activity outdoors, particularly in nature or green environments, is associated with reduced anxiety, with lower stress levels, and improved mood. And that is compared to indoor or urban only settings. People report feeling more energized and emotionally refreshed after outdoor exercise. And also, outdoor exercise contributes to improved cardiovascular health, better weight management. It helps to reduce the risk of chronic conditions, things as heart disease, diabetes type 2, high blood pressure. It's really that regular physical activity, even at moderate intensity. I'm not talking about running a marathon here. Really delivers those meaningful health benefits. Also, when we're outside, it's the exposure to that natural light during the day that actually helps to regulate our body's sleep wake cycle, which can, of course, improve your quality of sleep. We know that physical activity itself is linked to feeling more alert and having more energy during the day. But exercise when it fits into your schedule, even if that means in the evening. It's largely a myth that exercising right before bed negatively impacts sleep. That really is personal to you. If it does, then you don't exercise at nighttime. But for a lot of us, exercising at nighttime before bed has no issues with sleep. People often report that the outdoor activities like walking or hiking or even gardening, they report that they're more enjoyable and they're really easier to stick with over time. So that's that consistency. And also, enjoyment increases the likelihood that maintaining this regular physical activity, which is really key for long term health benefits. We're talking about consistency. If you like it better and you enjoy it, you're likely to keep doing it. Studies also indicate that exercising outdoors can support attention, your cognitive function, and your overall mental clarity. And this is likely due to a combination of movement plus the fresh air and reduced environmental stressors. Now, some of the best things about outdoor exercise is that, like I just said, it engages your brain. It activates attention, focus, and awareness as the brain processes the changing surroundings. Even that terrain, especially if it's uneven, helps to improve your balance, your coordination, and your muscle engagement. It also stimulates the senses. You're looking at sights, sounds, fresh air. This all reduces stress and supports our mental health. I've got a dog, got a doodle. And so when I'm walking my dog, I really do. I notice the clouds. I notice if there's a breeze or birds or if there's a trail of ants when I'm walking. I notice when weeds have overgrown. I notice other people walking their dogs or the sounds of the dogs barking or a bike that whizzes by. And as you probably know, I talk to my dog. And so he is such a great listener and he agrees with everything I say. Now, our minds and our bodies are connected. We know that. But when we're outdoors, the movement increases the blood flow and oxygen to the brain, which of course is going to support our focus and our mental well being. It triggers the release of mood boosting chemicals. Those are endorphins, serotonin. It helps to reduce our stress, our anxiety, even our feelings of fatigue. And this is with light or moderate activity. Doesn't have to be super strenuous. That time outdoors, that fresh air, that sunlight, it lowers the stress hormones, that cortisol. It lowers that and it actually promotes relaxation. And it doesn't have to be done for a very long time. So it's like a short period. You don't have to go out for an hour or two. Even like 10 to 20 minutes can improve your mood and reduce that muscle tension. But why? Why does enjoyment and consistency, why does that matter? More than the intensity of the activities. Well, it's because the activities that you enjoy, you're more likely to continue to do, and then it becomes a long-lasting habit. Consistent, moderate movement provides sustained physical and mental health benefits. So you don't have to do high intensity. Of course, you can if that is something that you do on a regular basis, great, but it is not required. It's really just that regular movement that fits real life. That is the key. And we know that time in nature gives our brain a break from that constant directed attention to demands. So giving our brain that break, this is called, or the concept is known as attention restoration. So even just a brief exposure to a park or trees, or even just looking out your window at a natural view, that can support our mental clarity. This is the word that's called effortless attention. So, according to the attention restoration theory, nature gently captures our attention through sights, sounds, and movement. Think of looking at trees or water or the clouds. This doesn't require any mental effort. So, that allows the brain to recharge. And so exposure to natural environments is linked, as you can imagine, to lower stress and better emotional well-being. Now, psychological research shows the benefits across green spaces. So when you think of parks or green areas, forests, also think of blue spaces as well. So those would be water environments, maybe going to the beach or to the lake. And feeling connected to nature really does matter. When we feel emotionally or psychologically linked to the natural world, this can improve our well being even when the time outdoors is limited. So, like I said, it doesn't take that much time. You don't need that much. So, this really suggests that how people experience nature is just as important as how often. And so studies have shown this correlation between greater exposure to green spaces, especially in our childhood, with reduced risk of mental health challenges later in life. Great for us to get outside. I don't know if you have ever noticed this, that if you're gardening or if you take a weekend hike, that stress just kind of melts away. And you're not imagining it. This is really the central idea around ecotherapy. So that therapy recognizes the deep human connection to the natural world. And so when this connection is nurtured through movement, our well-being improves. So on the slide here, you see some uh, examples, but these are nature-based movement. It can be informal and flexible, or it could be structured and guided, whatever works best for you. But if you think about community gardening or farming, that's where we're planting, weeding, and harvesting. That really offers some gentle movement while encouraging social connection and time outdoors. Sometimes wilderness or adventure therapy is a different way. It's hiking. Think of camping. Think of navigating outdoor terrain while learning coping skills. And often you will maybe sometimes see this used with teens and young adults. And park prescriptions. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but some healthcare providers are now recommending spending a set amount of time each week outdoors, walking or being active in parks or in green spaces. I'm really lucky where I live. I'm in a suburban neighborhood, but I'm out here in Colorado, and there are lots and lots of parks. They're scattered in between the neighborhoods, making it very easy to get to. Don't need to drive and just walk, and everything is paved. It's really, really nice. So it's easy for me where I live to be able to get to a green space. Forest bathing is another therapy. So this is slow, mindful walking through wooded areas. And this involves engaging all five of our senses while moving at a relaxed pace. So this isn't about, how fast can I get this walk done? It's really about absorbing being in that wooded area. So that's called forest bathing. Also, animal assisted therapy. So, this is interacting with animals. Maybe you're walking them or you're caring for them in an outdoor setting. This reduces stress and encourages movement as well. And then, of course, outdoor meditation or yoga. A lot of times in the summer, the local parks will offer outdoor yoga. I know they do around here. So, again, this is some gentle movement along with breath work combined with the natural surroundings. And that really enhances the benefits of both. So, if you have the opportunity, please do so. Now, we do know that movement alone is good for us. Of course, we're supposed to be moving, but movement in nature does more. Natural environments, it changes how our bodies and our brains respond to activity. Even just making gentle movement feel more restorative and like it's less effort required. So if you're outside and you're exercising, it feels good and it feels like it's less effort is required. So if you think about green or natural spaces, like I mentioned, parks, maybe a trail, maybe you can get to the beach or a local garden. This being out in that type of nature really does calm the nervous system. And when movement happens in those settings, your brain receives fewer threat signals and it receives more cues of safety, which helps to reduce anxiety and mental fatigue. And so I had mentioned that nature gives the brain a break from that constant stimulation. So instead of screens or noise or deadlines, the mind takes in softer inputs of light, of movement, of color, and sound. Natural spaces encourage us to be mindful movement without really even trying. So that's being present. When we're mindful, we're being present in the moment. So as we're exercising outdoors, we're walking, any type of movement, we will notice the uneven paths or shifting light or birds that are singing, or maybe you'll hear ocean waves, or maybe feel the soil in your hands as you're gardening. This gently pulls your attention into the present moment or mindfulness. So, unlike indoor workouts, outdoor movement really doesn't demand this constant performance, or tracking. Think of yourself on the treadmill. I'm always looking at the time, my speed, where am I don't want to trip, I got to hold on to the sides. But when you're out in nature, you're going to tune into how your body feels, your breath, and of course the surroundings. And so this kind of effort, it's effortless mindfulness. So that helps to quiet the racing thoughts. It reduces rumination, thinking over and thinking over and thinking over the same thoughts. and also creating a sense of calm awareness without having to label it as meditation. It sort of really is. And so, this even and slow, casual movement, whether you're walking or even just stretching, it can feel more meaningful when it's paired in or paired with nature. One of the most powerful things to think about when we're thinking of outdoor movement is to really think of it as self care, not exercise. It isn't about steps or pace or your goals or productivity. It's really about taking a walk to reset your mind or moving your body because it feels good. Let nature do some of the work of restoring your energy. And when movement feels nurturing rather than, oh my gosh, it's an obligation, people are likely to return to it. And that is we can all benefit from being consistent. Nature removes the pressure. It gives you permission to slow down, to listen to your body, and move in a way that supports your well being. This is not about perfection. This is just about relaxation, nature, stress management, mindfulness. Now, exercise is going to boost our mood no matter where it happens, but doing it outdoors consistently produces this stronger emotional benefits versus the indoor or the gym based workouts. So, research shows that the environment plays a key role in how our brain responds to physical activities. So, when we compare studies that compare indoor exercise, urban exercise, and natural settings, they found that people felt more positive, more energized, more calm, and more engaged after exercising in a green or a natural environments versus after working out indoors or in a busy city area. We do know that all exercise does trigger those happy chemicals in the brain, those endorphins, which reduce pain. It also creates this post-exercise feeling of calm and pleasure. And so outdoor exercise builds on this by influencing additional mood pathways. So, dopamine. So, natural environments enhance motivation and reward responses. So, when we make movement, it makes it feel more satisfying and less force than, like, say, a treadmill workout. Serotonin. So, exposure to the daylight and the greenery during movement supports serotonin pathways, and that is associated with mood stability and emotional regulation. And also, outdoors, um, it reduces cortisol. That is the stress hormone. So, exercising in nature leads to greater reductions in cortisol when you compare it to indoor exercise. And so, reduced cortisol or the stress hormone that helps the nervous system shift more quickly into the recovery mode after movement. Some people like jogging or running outdoors. Runners frequently report greater enjoyment, a reduced perceived effort. So it's easier and improved emotional state when they're running on trails or in green spaces when compared to running on a treadmill. Same thing with cycling. There are some real life stories and community reports that highlight how outdoor cycling supports mental health. It offers this sense of freedom, purpose, and emotional recovery along the side, of course, with the physical movement. So if those are things that you enjoy doing, running, cycling, jogging, really, really great for our mental health, especially when done outdoors. Now, I did talk about this last month, the benefits of sunlight, but I really felt as we're talking about movement outside, that it was important to just remind you of it, that even just 5 to 15 minutes of sunlight a few times a week helps your body make vitamin D. And that, of course, is going to support your bone health. It's going to reduce inflammation and help regulate cell growth. And do not worry, you can still produce vitamin D while you're using sunscreen, because it doesn't completely block that UVB rays. So you do get some vitamin D when you're outside, even when you're using sunscreen. Again, that daytime sunlight is going to help regulate the internal clock. So if sleep is an issue for you, get some additional sunlight. That will help with supporting better sleep. It also supports serotonin and melatonin. So that is, sometimes we can get that over the counter for sleep support. Vitamin D from the sunlight is going to help your body absorb calcium, which means we'll have strong bones and teeth. And it also triggers the release of nitric oxide, which can actually help lower our blood pressure, therefore supporting our cardiovascular health. And I had mentioned before that movement in nature does not have to be complicated or intense. So here's some list of some simple activities. You could plan a picnic. You could walk your dog or somebody else's dog. You could take a stroll in the evenings, dust off your bike. All of this, of course, is going to help support our mood, reduce stress, and help you to feel more present. Maybe you like to go kayaking or hiking or bird watching or golfing. These, like everyday outdoor moments, really combined with gentle movement and some fresh air and natural surroundings, really do support our mental and our emotional well-being. Okay, well, what happens? Laura, movement is super great until life gets in the way, right? So by supporting your energy throughout the day, you can avoid that afternoon slump. I get that every afternoon between 3 and 3:30. So that is a great time to make movement, put some movement into my afternoon. But I do also realize we need to be realistic. Life gets busy. You could have some fires. In my state, we have 8 fires currently going, and they're not contained. So the poor air quality can absolutely interfere with your ability to move outside. But there are some other things we want to remember to keep our energy up. We always want to keep hydrated all year round, not just in the summer. So drinking water consistently throughout the day. If you're going to go do some movement outside, make sure you're hydrating before, during, and after physical activity. You want to also eat for your energy. So you want to have some healthy carbohydrates, especially in the summer. Look to fruits, vegetables, things like whole grains. That helps to keep your energy up so that you do have the energy to do some movement. Also, alternating sitting with standing during the day. This is going to help keep your energy up as well. So it helps to fight fatigue. You want to make sure you've got the right comfortable shoes so that you can easily get up and walk, keep your legs and your feet feeling good. Even just a short stress relieving break. Maybe that means a lunchtime walk or a meditation or a yoga. This will help to recharge and reset you. And don't forget about breathing. A lot of times we just forget to take deep breaths, get that oxygen up to the brain. So practicing slow, deep breathing by inhaling through your nose and then you exhale through your mouth. This is going to increase the oxygen flow to your brain and your body. And then we want to eat the right food. So we want to limit saturated fats. Those take a long time to digest. And therefore, especially if you have like a heavy meal at lunch, that can make you feel really sluggish and sleepy. Prepare ahead of time. If you know the day is going to be hot, like today it's 94 where I live, getting that movement in early, also hydrating and taking breaks. If the air quality is poor or the conditions are smoky, then switch to some indoor options. Maybe that's stretching, yoga, some light strength exercise. I have a friend and we meet at the mall once a week at 8 a.m. So, mall walking gets you indoors into an air conditioned area. Obviously, if you have some physical limitations, maybe you have allergies or a chronic condition, you want to choose some gentle, low impact movement and adjust the activities to what feels comfortable and is accessible for you. And of course, when it's appropriate, you should be consulting your healthcare provider or a physical therapist to get some personalized guidance. So, how do we keep this movement sustainable? Well, the best movement is the one you'll come back to, whether that's walking or gardening or biking or pickleball or bocce ball. It all counts. And we can get activity in when we walk, when we do chores, when we have errands. Any of this time outdoors really does add up. Again, does not have to be formal exercise to benefit your health. So build in some simple routines, not this all or nothing goals. These small, consistent habits that are more sustainable. Think of that rather than perfection. Even just a little movement most days is better than pushing yourself too hard and then you're going to burn out. And remember that movement is a practice, not a promise. So some days you'll move more, some days you'll move less, some days you won't move at all. But none of those days cancel out the others. Your body doesn't forget the benefits just because you've missed a walk or skipped a workout. When this does happen, and of course it will, it's not failure, it's actually feedback. It means you may have needed rest. Maybe you had competing priorities, or your nervous system needed something different. So do not beat yourself up. That only adds to stress. And then it really does make movement harder to come back to. The most sustainable movers are not the ones who never miss. They're the ones who come back gently without punishment or shame. So treat yourself with kindness. We know that when movement is paired with guilt, oh, it becomes something that you want to avoid. However, when it's paired with compassion and curiosity and flexibility, then it becomes something that you want to return to. Here are some other ideas. Really, nature is closer than you think. So, checking out your local park, your trails, your green spaces, they're everywhere. Of course, there's an app for that. So, the All Trails app, this lets you discover hiking, walking, and nature trails near you. Nature Dose app. Now, this is from the Center for Nature and Health. This actually tracks the time that you spend in nature and its effects on your mood. Maybe you've heard of Map My Walk or Map My Run. This is an app that helps you to track your outdoor movement and set some goals if you would like to. And if you're looking for a place to go, well, the National Park Service has the Find a Park app or website, actually. So this helps you locate national parks, monuments, seashores, and historical sites by state or by activity. And then, of course, don't forget about your local parks and recreation departments. A lot of times, again, they will be able to tell you where the nearest park is, trails. They offer some classes and maybe some outdoor programs. All you need to do is search Parks and Rec plus your city or your county to get a list. And some general safety tips now that we're all going to be out and about. Of course, you want to let somebody know what your plans are, where you're going to go, when you expect to return, especially if you're going alone. I mentioned I live in Colorado, and This summer has been quite unusual. We've had a lot of bears. We've had a lot of bobcats. My sister had a bobcat in her backyard last week. So especially if I'm out walking with my dog and I'm alone, I want to make sure that my husband knows where I am. And actually, I carry a personal alarm with me as well. So you should have your phone, some form of ID, emergency contact information, and water, of course, anytime that you're going to be outdoors, and really to be aware of your surroundings. I know people love to exercise with their earbuds on, headphones. You want to keep those on a kind of a lower volume so that you can hear in case there's traffic or people or any kind of potential hazard if you're out here and a bear is chasing you. If we're out in the daytime, of course, we want to use sunscreen, SPF, sun protection factor, 30 or higher. It's always a good idea to wear a hat, lightweight, light colored clothing to limit your heat exposure. And if there's going to be any weather, you of course want to avoid that. So things like extreme heat or cold or wind or storms, simply reschedule or move your activity to indoors. And of course, hydrating, so drinking water before, during, and after activity, even if you're not thirsty. You know that, right? Do not wait until you are thirsty. Then you're headed toward dehydration. So stay hydrated. If you happen to be exercising or being outdoors at the nighttime, you want to make sure you're wearing reflective or bright colored clothing, reflective bands, maybe even a little headlamp or a flashlight so people can see you. You want to stay on paths where there are some street lights or some other people around, some other foot traffic. You want to use the sidewalks and paths that are safe. And of course, you want to watch out for uneven pavement or tripping hazards. And if you're around other drivers or people that are driving, make sure that you don't want to assume that they can see you. So you want to make eye contact before crossing the street, and of course, using the crosswalks. And then, of course, you want to be making sure you're wearing the right protective gear for the type of activity or the footwear that you are doing. That will help reduce slips and falls or even overuse injuries as well. And then, it's not an all or nothing. This is a start slow. This is listen to your body, especially if you're returning to outdoor activity after a break. Okay, one of the benefits of spending time outdoors, hang on just a second here, I don't want this to start yet. One of the benefits of spending time outdoors is that it gives our brains a chance to reset. So I was going to play a video for a couple minutes, and this video isn't a substitute for getting outside, but it can serve as a gentle reminder of the calming, restorative effect that nature can have on our mood and our focus. Look at the time here. So I'm just going to play it for a couple minutes. Just sit back and relax. There are just some music with this, no words. So that was just a little taste. We're just so lucky to be where we live and have access to beautiful places around us, whether that's just, the park down the street or if you have actual access. This was Sequoia National Park. All right, so just a few more minutes and we'll go ahead and close this webinar, but rise to the challenge. This doesn't always mean having to do huge or intense things. Most of the time it really is, I'm talking about small, doable steps, especially on the days you really don't feel like doing it. And so it's about showing up for yourself in small ways that can help build some momentum. So think of rising to the challenge. Think of maybe a 5-minute reset break, or just stepping outside for some fresh air, or going for a short walk at lunch, even just moving in between your meetings. Maybe if you're up for it, you might want to try a new group class, or even join a walking or a hiking club. So just whatever is easiest for you to do will fit into your schedule. Thank you so much for your attention today. These next slides are on our programs that help HealthNet members build or maintain their healthy habits. Of course, our members can find all of our wellness programs and other resources when they log into their HealthNet account. The health risk assessment, we're over halfway through the year. If you have not done this and you're a HealthNet member, ours is called the Real Age Test. Check with your health plan. If you are not a HealthNet member, it's likely they have something very similar. But this, of course, is going to give you a little snapshot of your health status in some key areas. And health coaching. It's never fun to try and make lifestyle improvements all on your own. So getting the right support can keep you on track and motivated. And then craving to quit. This is our tobacco cessation program. It's for those who are ready to permanently break their addiction to tobacco. And if you're in California, Kick It California is also a free program that is available as well. And if you're looking to make some improvements or just maintain your healthy eating habits, Eat Right Now is our mindful eating program. It's really focused in on healthy eating habits rather than dieting. So things like triggers, cravings, building those healthy habits, and emotional eating are covered in this digital program. And we know that life is stressful. So Unwinding by ShareCare, this offers a lot of different modules, tools, videos that guide you to not only decrease chronic stress, but also build resilience. And note, this is open to everybody. So you just have 2 different logins. But if you're interested in that, check it out. And then, of course, we offer discounts for our members. So if you're looking for weight management information, we've got Weight Watchers. We also give discounts to chiropractic and acupuncture services, as well as hearing aids and screenings. And then also Active and Fit. That is our gym discount program. So if you do want to work out at a gym, or they have both online and virtual programming as well. And then we have a variety of online health challenges every month. So lots of them going on. They're usually on the topics of stress, steps, and sleep. Again, these are open to everyone. And specifically for HealthNet members, we've got a destination challenge. Just started July, and we're going to be walking around Barcelona. So we're going to try to do 50,000 steps as we take a virtual journey through this vibrant city. And this runs from July 1st all the way through August 31st. And next month, we are talking about money matters. So, money and finances can lead to stress. So it's really important to be able to make the most out of the money that you have while learning, of course, to make some small improvements with savings. So if you're interested in learning about tips on saving money and how to improve your relationship with money, please join us next month. And thank you so much for your time today. As a quick reminder, everybody who registered for this webinar will receive a link to the recording in just a few days. Thank you so much for your time. We hope we see you next month. Feel free to exit the webinar at this time.